In this video, we are going to show Cisco ACI and Nutanix AHV integration. Cisco ACI has been supporting various types of VMM, Virtual Machine Manager, integrations such as VMware and Microsoft. By using VMM integration, Cisco ACI can automate virtual switch and virtual network along with physical ACI fabric. Starting from Cisco ACI Release 6.03, Nutanix AHV integration is introduced. In the case of VMware VMM domain, Cisco APIC manages VMware distributed virtual switch and port groups. In the case of Microsoft SC-VMM domain, Cisco APIC manages logical switch and VM networks, which are equivalent to distributed virtual switch and port groups. In the case of Nutanix VMM domain, Cisco APIC manages virtual switch and subnets. Nutanix has two network deployment options. One is VMware VSS/VDS. The other is AHV networking that is Open vSwitch based. The integration we are going to talk about today is AHV networking integration. Two important components in Nutanix AHV networking. Virtual switch is the distributed virtual switch across AHV hosts in the cluster. Virtual switch has subnets that are equivalent to VMware port groups. Please note that it's not IP subnet. VM NIC is attached to a subnet. This is how it looks like. On Cisco APIC, we associate a Nutanix VMM domain to an EPG, which will create a subnet for the EPG. The subnet name is based on the combination of Nutanix domain name, tenant name, application profile name and EPG name. That said, custom EPG name is also an option. It's VLAN based. A VLAN ID is dynamically or statically allocated by ACI. Let me explain workflow before going to explain demo. The first step is that APIC admin create a Nutanix VMM domain. We have two options here. We can use an existing virtual switch on Nutanix or APIC can create a new virtual switch. If it's a new virtual switch, Nutanix server admin needs to add uplinks to the newly created virtual switch. The second step is associating the Nutanix VMM domain to an EPG, which will push policy to ACI fabric, and also create a subnet for the EPG on Nutanix cluster. The last step is that Nutanix server admin just use the newly created subnet. Since both physical and virtual network are already provisioned, the VM can communicate with other VMs based on contracts. In today's demo, we already have Nutanix VMM domain already configured on APIC. We are going to show two things. Basic EPG configuration with Nutanix VMM domain and intra-EPG isolation. At first, we will check if VMs can communicate with existing subnets created by APIC. Then, we are going to associate the Nutanix VMM domain to an EPG and check if a subnet is created. Then, we will enable intra-EPG isolation option available at EPG policy, which will deny intra-EPG communication. We have one application profile with two EPGs, web and app. A Nutanix VMM domain is associated to both EPGs. On Nutanix Prism, we have two subnets, web and app, which were created by APIC. Let me create a new EPG with Nutanix VMM domain. I call it test EPG and select the Nutanix VMM domain. Once I create test EPG, APIC will automatically create a new subnet on Nutanix. Then, Nutanix admin just need to select a subnet as part of virtual machine NIC configuration. If I delete test EPG, the test subnet gets deleted unless it's used by a VM. We have two endpoints in web EPG. 192.168.1.31 and 32. This VM console on the right side is the endpoint 192.168.1.31. 1.31 can ping to 1.32 because they are in the same EPG. We have two endpoints in app EPG, 192.168.2.31 and 32. The web endpoint can ping to 192.168.2.31 in app EPG because we have a contract between web and app EPG. If we remove the permit ICMP filter from the contract, ping from web to app is failed. Once it's back, it's immediately permitted again. This is a general ACI contract behavior. If we enable intra-EPG isolation at web EPG, ping from 1.31 to 1.32 is failed because they are in the same EPG. but inter-EPG traffic is still permitted because of the contract. Once we disable intra-EPG isolation again, intra-EPG communication is permitted again immediately.